In this lesson, we're going to teach how to install application software, how to maintain Windows, and how to maintain application. As an IT specialist in the workplace, your job is going to be make sure you have good computer, you have a good database, you have good connection to the network, and the user of your computers feel comfortable to perform in the workplace. And one of your responsibilities is going to be installing and troubleshoot application software. This is the reason why we think this lesson is very important, and there is a few points that I want to make before I start with the presentation. First, before you install or even buy an application software, you have to make sure your computer has requirements necessary to run that application software. Let me repeat it again. Before you install an application software in the computer, you have to make sure that computer has all the hardware and operating system requirements for that specific application software. The reason why I say that, each application is designed for a specific operating system. It is not like if you have Mac OS in the computer, that computer will run the same Office software you have for a PC, because they have software designed for the PC and software designed for Mac OS. This is the same thing if you have iOS or Android in the smartphone. The same application that you use in the smartphone, you cannot use that same application for PC and iOS, for Android and iOS. So you have to understand the application software have to be compatible with the operating system. Now, for hardware requirements, some application software, when you buy them right in the box, they will tell you what type of CPU you have to use for that specific application software. Not every CPU can run any application software. Memory. A lot of applications have requirements for RAM. How much RAM you need to run that specific application. There are applications that require that at least you have 1 gigabyte. There are applications that you run that require that you have at least 2 gigabytes. And there are small applications that you run that will require more than 2 gigabytes. It depends on the design of the coding or that specific application. Also, drive space. Some software require a large amount of drive space. I downloaded small software named Pinnacle. It's a video editing software. It's required that I have 7 gigabyte drive space to install that application. So you have to check to figure out how much drive space you have available based on what is the requirement in drive space for that specific application. So let me repeat it again. Before you buy or install an application software, you have to make sure that the computer meet hardware and operating system requirements. What type of Windows, what version of Windows? Are you running Windows or Linux? So you need to have an application that is compatible for the operating system that you are running in the computer, because not every operating system support all applications. The second thing that is important is RAM. How much RAM you need to run that application. The other requirement that is important is drive space. How much drive space you need to install that application. And you have to make sure you pay attention to what they call minimum and maximum. If an application requires 1 gigabyte and you have only 1 gigabyte in your computer that is being used for Windows, for all the application, you cannot install that application. This is the minimum requirement. You can install the application. Now, will the application work properly if you do not have enough RAM? No. So if you have only 2 gigabyte in your computer and the minimum requirement is 2 gigabyte, you might be able to install that application, but that application will not be able to perform. So this is the point that I want to make, and that covers everything that you need to know about that presentation. However, there are a few things that you need to know and you must know for the purpose of passing your test. The other point I want to make, there are many ways you can buy the application. The application can come on a CD or a DVD. The application can come on a flash drive, or the application can come on the internet. So you have to go to the internet and download it. So there are many ways application can come. But what is important when you want to install any application, the application will come in the package with the executable file. Regardless you download it, it's come on a CD or DVD ROM, or the application come on a disk drive or a flash drive. Regardless how the application come, in the package it will have an executable file called install or setup. So you're going to look for the file called setup or install. Those are the files that allow you to launch the application. And also in the same package, that means on the CD, the DVD ROM, or in the folder that come from online, the application will come with all the configuration app that will automatically configure the application for you. There is not much to do when you install an application. All you have to do, if it come on the CD, put the CD ROM on the drive and start installing. Some of them will automatically start. Others you have to click on the folder, look for the install or setup file, click on it to launch the application. Regardless, the application come from download online or on a flash drive or on a CD-ROM, the application will, all the software developer will use the same technique to develop a full complete application. Now, in this lesson, we expect you to know how to install and manage Windows application, how to manage Windows performance, how to troubleshoot Windows issue, and when selecting, installing, and configuring software application, you need to consider both the compatibility and security concept. That is very important. Security concept. And the most common way to prevent installing malware is to make sure that you download the software from a legitimate source. You can go any place on the internet and start downloading software in your computer. That can create bridge in the network, bridge in the computer that you are using, that you are downloading. If you are part of a network, if your computer is part of a network or part of a domain or a work group, you have to understand your behavior can affect everybody else in the network. So for that reason, you have to make sure, as the IT technician or the network administrator, you have to make sure that you have control over who are using your system and what they can do on your system. OS requirement, as I said, every application is designed to run on the specific operating system. So you have to make sure the application that you're going to buy or install in your computer meet the requirement of this application. Make sure to select the application that is compatible with the version of Windows. As I said, Windows come in many versions, and each version, like Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, they are versions. So most of the time, an application can be used on many editions of the same Windows, but cannot be used on many versions. What that means is, an application can be able to work on Windows 10 Home, Windows 10 Pro, Windows 10 Education, Windows 10 Enterprise, or whether that same application cannot work on Windows 8 because Windows 8 is another version. So Windows come in version, and each version have many editions. So when you buy an application, it is likely that application will be able to use on any version of the same edition of Windows. So this is very important to understand. And system requirements, the CPU. Some applications specify CPU requirements. Some may require a Pentium CPU. Some may require a dual-core CPU. Some may be designed for 32-bit. Some may be designed for 64-bit. So you have to make sure to know that this application, the CPU in your computer, meet the requirement of the application you're going to install. Graphic card. Some video require, some application require a specific graphic card. So in order to run that application, most of the design application used by architect or artists, they require a certain graphic card. So if you don't have the graphic card that meet the requirement of that application will not work. So I'm going to stop right here with that presentation, and I'm going to do another segment of the same presentation. It might be 3 segments because I want to cut this segment to 15 minutes. So to make the uploading easier and for you to take a break after 15 minutes. So I'm going to stop here, then I'm going to prepare another segment.